Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room Podcast. We are with you guys after Game 5, and man, that was an exciting game. Game 5 of the NBA Finals. OKC wins their second straight game, goes up 3-2. Jalen Williams with a all-time great Thunder performance. The best game of his career and the biggest game of his career. 40 points, I think 6 rebounds and 4 assists. Was amazing on defense as well. All around great game from him. Shea was his consistent self, 31 and 10, only 3 turnovers. Had some really good plays on defense. I think Caruso was fine. I think Kaysen played well.
Caruso was not good from 3.
Yeah,
Aaron Wiggins, Kaysen both hit from 3. Lou Dort hit from 3 still.
And then on the flip side, the Pacers, they were down 18 in this game, and they never gave up. They kept fighting TJ McConnell, and Obi Toppin had like 20 points off the bench in one quarter, in the third quarter, to bring them back into the game. They got it down all the way to 2, but the Thunder prevailed. Really great win for them. We'll get into it. Make sure you guys like the video, share the video, follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen, so we can continue to keep growing. Let's get to it. J-Dub drops 40 to lead the Thunder to the Game 6 win. Max, talk to me. One game away from immortality. One game away from avenging 2012. One game away from avenging 2016. Take me through your thoughts right now as a Thunder fan with one more game to NBA championship.
So I'm actually going to speak on Indiana first, because I thought Indiana, with everything that went down, was still very good this game. And the two names specifically, I think Pascal Siakam and TJ McConnell, obviously, were two X factors for them this game. And I think, honestly, Indiana's biggest issue was they didn't have TJ McConnell playing in that game. I think he checked in at like 323. No idea why you did not go to TJ McConnell when, again, he was running the offense. He was getting in the paint. He was getting defenders up in the air. He was getting fouls. They were still even open for 3. He was getting steals. Like, he was majority of the reason, in my opinion, why they came back in that third quarter with his spark off the bench. Pascal Siakam was very, very good this game. Getting in the paint, drawing fouls, shooting the 3-ball. Everything looked very calculated. No hesitation on his shots. He looked like he knew what he was doing the entire game, and especially in that second half. And those two pieces, I think, were a big reason of why they were in the game. And I would love to know why Rick Carlisle did not want to go back to TJ McConnell, especially if Tyrese was not 100%. I know at halftime, Stephen A. and Perk were trying to say, like, bench him, rest him, and get him ready for Game 6. No, you were still in that game, and OKC in the first half did not close them out like they should have and let them get back in the game. But on OKC side, definitely not the most perfect game at all. I was nervous going in the second half. That lead was not big enough for the first half that they played, and it was the same story of Game 1. Luckily, it changed this game. And again, this series spits like the Denver series to me. This is exactly how the Denver series has played out up until this point. You win a good home game, but the performance from J-Dub was, sensational. It was great. Again, the role players played well at home. I know Doris Burke made a comment about that in Indy. Role players play better at home. Wiggins, Kaysen, Lou Dort all shot the 3-ball very well. In the second half, defensively, especially in that fourth quarter, that one steal for Caruso was great. Active hands. I thought we were getting tons of turnovers, especially in that first half. But J-Dub, Shea was doing his thing, obviously. But J-Dub and the confidence, the consistency, taking the pressure off of Shea was just huge in that game. And again, he was getting to the cup. He was scoring a couple mid-ranges here and there, but he shot the 3-ball pretty well too. He looked completely in control. He was cutting super well. His handle looked better. He just looked so confident and controlled. Hopefully this is the game that catapults him into that next level or next tier of NBA players going forward. But again, this is the biggest game of his career, the biggest performance of his career. And yeah, I mean, from the comment you made earlier, this isn't arguably one of the best games, I think, a Thunder team. This is one of the biggest games for the Thunder in their history, if not the biggest. So he showed up in the biggest moment possible.
Well, he top 25 at the minimum, man. But that's crazy.
Yeah, you said he's top 25. Who?
J-Dub.
You said at the minimum? I say he higher than that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's probably like.
I get confused. What do you mean by higher though? I never understand people. Everyone means the same thing. Higher as far as like 30, or higher as far as like.
No, like I think
lower. The going 30 is lower.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like some people don't always mean that, and so it gets confusing. So you mean he could be like 30, 35. I don't know. I
John,
need to think about
right
what
now.
Huh? What's up?
No, he's out. Anyways, Q, talk to me. How you feeling about this game? You said that the Thunder will win 3 straight, along with me on when they lost game 3. They've done 2 of the 3 games. So where you at right now? What do you see in this game?
Last 2 games, I say Mark Dagnall's decision to like get Shea off ball a little bit early or a lot early allows him to get some energy late. Allowed other people to get going, especially J-Dub, him getting downhill. Last 2 games has opened up a lot for them. Like his aggressiveness, him getting to the line, kind of helped them, deal with the little inefficiencies he was going through with first couple games. I think the story really, like, not to like take away anything from the Thunder, they played a great game, suffocating defense, swarming per usual, turnovers, fast break points, and whatnot. But Tyrese Halliburton, and honestly, like he tweaked something, whatever. He wasn't good before the tweak. Like if he was able to consistently get a bucket, these games would be a lot better because like they find a way to make it close, and then like it gets to it, and then they go on another huge like a huge 10-point swing out of nowhere. It gets annoying, and then everybody else they do a lot of picking up of the dribble, throwing bad passes and things like this is a great defense, and like I don't think OKC's offense is like great. I don't think they have a great offense. I think they have a great offensive player, a good offensive player, and then just a bunch of great defensive players. And as long as they could get stops and get turnovers, they're always going to be able to put up 115, 20 points a night, which is ridiculous. 2 games came down to the clutch. Last game, Shea goes for 15 in the fourth, saves that game, which looked like a loss, like coming out to the closing minutes, and he takes over. This game, after the TJ McConnell goes crazy for an 8-minute stretch, 10-minute stretch, or whatever it may be, brings it then 2. Here come J-Dub and SGA again, down the stretch, close out the game. Doesn't allow Indiana to really get close enough to feel comfortable after that, going down just by 2. They showed their ass, excuse my language. Great win. They won away. Whether they win in Indiana, I don't know. Indy is a hard place to play, but they showed that they can win there before. Tyrese Halliburton want to like scave off some negativity. He has to go for a big game. People keep waiting for him to go get 25, 30. Everybody talking about he needs to be aggressive. He just, I don't. That's just not the type of player he is. You got great contributions from everybody else. You can't squander those wins away. So I don't know how much your TJ McConnells and things like that could keep it up. You need better production from Nembhard on offense, Nesmith on offense, Miles Turner on offense. Who had a better game, I guess, shooting or scoring this game, but it still wasn't enough. I don't know. They overmatched. I still think they should be a win come Thursday. What they play Thursday? Yep. Yeah, Thursday. I expect them to win the game. Not like real like a 30-point blowout, but it should be nip and tuck. Probably pull out the win late, like most of these games have been this whole series. I think we came into the series thinking it was a drastic like gap between the teams. OKC was the overwhelming favorite pretty much all year, and going to this series, people didn't really give Indiana a shot. Clearly, they had a chance. Just some small tweaks, certain things change, and it could go a different way. But clearly, these teams are been pretty even since the start of New Year. So I think that was just we had to get away from that. But it's been a great series. Season over on Thursday. I don't really see if it's going. I don't think it's going to go to 7. I don't see how it gets to 7.
I don't know. I just feel like Indiana's an incredibly hard place to play. I know OKC's the better team. I felt that way this whole series, but they can definitely close it out in 6. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to be like damn near 50-50 on game 6 as far as like who will win. I'm kind of like leaning towards OKC because that Holly injury looks pretty bad. I mean, he's going to have some days of rest. But when you're the Pacers and you play so fast, and the Thunder play so fast, and they have those guard dogs like being aggressive with you every single time, and you got a calf injury, that's not great at all. That's not something that's great to play on. And the injury is probably bad that they're just not announcing it because it's going to look bad to the media if he's playing through that. I mean, it's the NBA Finals, so but as far as this game tonight, it felt like similar to Game 1 to me. A lot similar to Game 1. The Thunder were creating turnovers a lot to begin the game. They were ultra aggressive at the catch point. They were picking up Holly pretty high. They were denying him the ball as well. I think the Pacers they usually like go to like empty side pick and rolls to counteract that. Didn't do that tonight. I think this was one of Rick Carlisle's worst coached games in the playoffs. Just from the simple fact that you saw Holly didn't have it going. You saw TJ McConnell bring you guys back in that third quarter, and you didn't bring TJ McConnell back until 3 minutes left when the game was basically already decided. I get you want to play your superstar or you want to play your star player or whatever, even though he's done with injuries, but he was a zero out there. Tyrese Halliburton was terrible tonight. And McConnell was probably their second best player, easily their second best player. He should have played the big minutes in his game. I know he's a role player. I know he's a bench player, but he is the only player he's the only player that has been able to consistently get 2 feet in the paint against OKC. Like he's quick, he's aggressive. Huh?
You shameless.
I mean, I've been saying that.
Shameless.
He's quick, he's aggressive, he's fearless. He's experienced. It seems like no moment is too big for TJ McConnell. Like every time he comes in the game, he's running 100 miles per hour, and his ability to move the ball quickly, get the ball in the paint, and bend the Thunder's defense is their weakness of their defense.
And keeping the dribble live.
Yeah,
that's it. Like he keeps the dribble live. I'm tired of we do 2 moves, do a simple cross, and then we pick up the ball trying to look to pass. Or like not that's a bad thing, but like you get caught in stupid little situations and then you throw the ball away. TJ McConnell does not ever pick up the dribble. If he picks up the dribble, he's going up for a bucket. He's never gonna just pick up the dribble and get stuck in a situation. Go ahead.
You good? So I think Rick Carlisle should have closed with him. I don't know why Tony Bradley played a second in this game. To be honest, I don't know what that was about.
He played more than 1 second.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't know why he ever touched the floor. He was awful, and he's a terrible he's a terrible matchup for him. Playing Tony Bradley in NBA Finals is ridiculous. I don't know why he played.
I was happy every time he checked in. I just
seen both the coaches do something like that. We seen
Kenrich Williams play big minutes.
AJ
Kenny Hustle played big minutes, bro.
Kenrich Williams is a good match. Like he's a good matchup.
He played solid. He had some good minutes. I agree.
In the regular season, Kenrich Williams played well against Pacers. I'm
not hating on it like Tony Bradley. I think there's a reasoning why. I'm saying Tony Bradley did not make any sense. I agree.
Obviously, Holly was terrible tonight, and a lot of it has to do with his injury. But I'm not giving him like a complete pass for it. But Rick Carlisle, I think, had his worst game coaching as a playoffs. Just a few mistakes, too many, and you can't make mistakes against the Thunder team. I think when the Pacers had momentum and they had cut the lead to like 3, and he took Siakam out. And they took Siakam out, and then when he came back in the game, they were like down like 10. Like after that, the game was over. I don't think he rolled the guys that were playing well enough, to be honest. But I want to get to OKC. I want to start with J-Dub. I think J-Dub has faced a lot of criticism. Like he's faced a lot of scrutiny from OKC fans. He faced a lot of scrutiny from NBA fans in general because sometimes he doesn't show up offensively. But to see his maturity from the last playoffs, he was hesitant to shoot threes, hesitant to attack. He was getting sped up really easily. To see his maturity and his game grow over this last year and blossom like this with a 40-point game in the NBA Finals, it's been special. He's taken a lot of scrutiny. He's taken a lot of flack, especially for a third-year player. He's handled it well, and it's just really great to see him perform like this in the NBA Finals. He's been arguably their best player for like 2.5 games. And there's a real argument for him to be the Finals MVP. It just is. Because not only
mind you, I said this, and bro wanted to go on Twitter and be funny and act like that was crazy. But
I mean, Shea had that one great game defensively. What was it, game? Game 3 or 4? He played really well. But like Jada, was it game 2? But Jada's been obviously doing it for 5 games. Sorry, Latif, but
yeah. And it's not just about his offense. I think the reason why he's in this conversation is because he's been really good offensively, but also he's providing elite defense like every single night. No matter how much he's scoring, he's providing you with elite defense, elite switchability.
So yeah, he's point guard basically the first half of these last 2 games.
Yeah, so what? You said what?
I say he's been playing point guard basically the first half of these last 2 games.
He's been attacking the paint at will. I think his offensive process has been a lot better. He hasn't been settling for as many mid-ranges as he does. He's been confident pulling threes, and that's been really big because they focused so much on SGA with Andrew Nembhard, and they focused so much on SGA, denying him the ball with Andrew Nembhard. They're playing very, very high on his screens. They're being physical with him. So to have Jalen Williams be able to step up like this, that's big. I think if I had to choose, it was SGA because I think he's still garnering the most attention. He's still commanding the most attention from the defense. Yeah. And SGA obviously been pretty good, like in his finals. He's been, I would say, like especially for a debut finals, pretty great. I think the argument comes in when we talk about J-Dub defense because Shea's defense has been sporadic through the series, and he has some really bad breakdowns in terms of like off ball, not boxing out.
His fouls been bad. He's just a pretty bad fouls in my opinion.
Yeah, TJ McConnell has scored him a few times. Holly has scored him a few times. He's had definitely some good flashes, but like his focus isn't always there because of how much energy he has.
He's always going to be like I said. He's not like I don't find him a great defender, but he's as a help defender. He's great. His hand. He always knows where to stick his hand in to try to get a steal. He's great getting blocks like down there and everything. Like he's a sneaky shot down there.
Tony Bradley, you blocked Tony Bradley.
Yeah, but
he's not a bad defender. He's not a bad defender.
And he's smart. It comes to with being smart, knowing that you have to be available for your team. So like you pick your spots when you to be aggressive and things like that. Usually when he gets a foul, whatever, that's usually like his first foul. Like he'll get his first foul, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, something like that. And you're like, damn, he only got 1 foul because like he doesn't put himself in like bad situation to get taken advantage of like that.
Yeah. So, but just speaking on Tyrese Haliburton, I'm not going to get on Hallie too hard because he's clearly banged up out there. But throughout this series, I don't think he's played well. Regardless, I don't think this is a good matchup for him. He can't break perimeter defenders down off the dribble unless he's very, 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 very screen reliant. He's very screen reliant. He's not a great athlete. He doesn't get 2 feet in the paint as a scorer really well at all. He's not aggressive enough as a scorer. I've said the reason why I can't put Holly in these certain conversations as a top 10 player, and I'm going to keep saying it, is because his scoring floor is too low. He has so many of these games where he just cannot put the ball in the basket or he's just not aggressive enough. And it's not just against like one of the best defenses ever, or it's not just against the Thunder. He has games like this in the regular season where they're playing the fucking Nets and he's not scoring 20. I mean, it don't obviously matter. Like he can be effective. He can be effective without scoring a lot of points, but you got to be aggressive in terms of getting downhill, getting to the paint, creating shots for your team. He barely looked at the rim in this game. Like barely looked at the rim. Like it's almost no point of being out there if you're not going to look at the rim. Like honestly,
I think that's one thing though that we people in general kind of have predicted on this series, right? I think that I think that we all thought the series would be close. I think we said like teams would be obviously like even if it wasn't like a blowout series, it'd be close games. But I think the idea that Hallie would be in hell with Caruso, Lou Dort, Kaysen, J-Dub, whatever switch he had, like yeah, I think that's the one thing that's held true this series to where, again, if he doesn't hit a game-winning shot in game 1, he's looked at as having under 20 points in his first 2 games. Then he had like 25 in his second game, and then the other 2 games he whatever. So I think that has kind of been like something that's held true. But
yeah, But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it as far as Game 5. We got to move on. We have some more stuff to talk about.
Game six is Thursday.
All right, Game 6.
And
Hey,
whatever.
no, what are you talking about, Max?
Game 6 is on Thursday, I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So recently as well, in the news, we haven't talked about this on the podcast. Desmond Bane was traded to that says Grizzlies. Wow, Latif. Desmond Bane was traded to the Magic. Desmond Bane was traded to the Magic on what was that?
Yesterday?
Saturday?
That was yesterday.
Oh, okay. Desmond Bane was traded to the Magic.
Monday?
Yes, it is Monday. Desmond Bane was traded to the Magic on Sunday for 4 first-round picks.
One swap,
KCP, and Cole Anthony. So we're gonna talk about the deal from both sides of the move. Q, what was your initial reaction when you heard this news that Desmond Bane was going to be on the Magic? What do you think of the fit? What do you think of the overall team going forward? Just give me your thoughts on the overall situation from the Magic perspective.
I had the same kind of reaction I had to the Mikal Bridges trade. Is too much like first round draft capital for a non-all-star player. That's really whatever. I don't think that's really up for debate, so I don't really got to go into too much on that. In terms of the fit, Orlando got what they were looking for in shooting. They essentially upgraded KCP into what they thought they were going to pretty much get from KCP, shooting and defense. They take a hit on the defense. Like Desmond is not a great defender by anything, but he's not a negative. But he's younger, a great shooter. I doubt he's going to be as worse as KCP was this year. KCP was pretty much a bad contract, and he's old, like 30, 32, 33. Desmond Bane's like 24, 25, something like that. So he fits into the lineup. Now you got a backcourt of Suggs, Bane. You still got your other pieces. So to get shooting in there, I think they needed more of a self-creating or like a playmaking, self-creating type guard. But I mean, not everything's perfect, so at least they get something. Fits the timeline. He's paid. You ain't got to worry about giving another contract and whatnot. That's kind of why he went for so much. Orlando, I think they made this move thinking about next year. Jason Tatum. So kind of the East is up in the air. You look at Indy, obviously they're in the finals. You could probably say if we, fit on the margin, we could, compete with that that level of team. I still think they're clearly probably the 5th best team in the conference. With that, obviously, because Boston not there, because you still got Indy, who's probably going to go into next year as the favorites to, get to the finals again. You still got the Knicks, who are 2 games away from making the finals. You got the Cavs, and Joel Embiid's healthy. I think they're better than the Magic too. So yeah, at best, you're 4th, 5th best team. I don't think that's enough, but like I said earlier before we got on, I don't think every move has to be the move that takes you to the championship. They did get better. You do lose out on the draft picks necessary to fill out a roster when you're paying that much money to already giving Suggs 30. Franz is about to start on his 50 mil, damn near. Desmond Bane already getting 40 plus, and then Paolo's up for an extension this offseason. Obviously, they're going to pay him that rookie scale max, probably going to be something around 40, 45 mil. But that's a lot of money invested into those 4 players. So you have to be able to hit on the margins, and Orlando hasn't shown that they're great at drafting. They've had a lot of opportunities before, and they haven't worked out. If they were to hit on those picks beforehand, then making this trade is, makes a lot more sense because you already got the role players, you got the I guess your quote unquote stars ready to go. The Memphis side, you would think they would be rebuilding. I still wouldn't. I still would keep the door open if I get some calls on Ja, if I get some calls on Jaren, I'd entertain them. I guess word around that they're just retooling. So I think there should be another move coming. If you got 4 first-round picks, you can make a trade. I'd call the Nets, see if I can get both Claxton and Cam Johnson just to fill out the roster a little bit. They said they like Jalen Wells. That's a good lineup to run out there. They're still kind of behind on the 8 ball in the Western Conference itself. But I still think they made out well in the trade because they now with those first-round picks plus their own first-round picks, they have a lot of avenues to either stockpile picks and get better for the future, or use those picks to get a real impact top 20-ish level player, 15 level player to add to their good roster, and see what they got in that conference. Because OKC obviously made the final, but I think they could, if they make the right moves, they could probably compete with everybody else. So I don't. Memphis, I give it an A-. Orlando, I probably give it a B at best.
When I first saw this trade, I was not a big fan of it for the Magic. I felt like giving up 4 first-round picks and a pick swap was a lot for a player of Desmond Bane's caliber. Now, I think Desmond Bane is a great player. I think Desmond Bane is like a top 35, 40-ish player in the league. I think he fits on his team really nicely. I think they obviously needed shooting. They needed more perimeter creation and ball handling. And I think he is a great shooter, one of the best in the league. I think he can and has shown that he can facilitate offense as well. He's also not a liability on defense at all. So that plays into their identity, and it helps them a lot. They're one of the worst offenses in the league last year. Now, do I think Desmond Bane solely changes that? No. I think he'll probably make them, like, they'll be probably, like, as presently constructed, they'll probably be average next year on offense. Where I really came to pause with this trade is, not only are you giving up a lot of draft capital, and you can make the case, oh, the picks are going to be in the 20s, sure. But not only did you give up draft capital, your team is going to be incredibly expensive, like, very soon. Like, very soon. They're going to be giving, like, 90% of their cap to 4 or 5 guys. And when you are doing that, it makes it incredibly hard to build a complete team. And one of the better ways to build a team when you are super expensive is through the draft. Because you can pick players you can pick high quality players in the mid to late first round. You can really save money. So I think this trade makes them like the 4th or 5th best team in the East. And for them to improve is going to be a lot of internal improvement. I think they're going to have to bank on Paolo becoming like a top 10 player, top 15 player in a league for this team to be like a championship level team. Now, the East is wide open next year. But I still think I will have 3 teams, the Knicks, Cavaliers, and Pacers, over the Orlando Magic. I'm not a big fan of Wendell Carter Jr. at the 5 at all. I don't think they have enough guard depth right now at all. I still don't think they have a lot of spacing at all, to be honest. So I think that's where they're going to run into issues. I think the offensive fit between Paolo and Franz is still murky. Now, we got to see how they improve. They need to drastically improve as shooters for the team to get better offensively. It's always a threat of them staying healthy as well, because Jalen Suggs has been dealing with injuries. But I think their starting lineup would be pretty good. I have really, really questions about their bench, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's not a terrible move or nothing like that, but I probably would have wanted to use his capital on a player that like gets me closer to like championship contention going forward, like over and over. Like, but they were going to have to bank on Paolo anyways. I think like bank on Paolo taking that leap anyways, regardless if they trade for Desmond Bane. They're going to bank on Franz having to improve. I don't know if Jamal Mosley's a coach for the team offensively. I don't know if he's the guy for them. But it's basically the future of their franchise is banking on Paolo Banchero becoming a top 10, 15 player. That's pretty much it. Max, what do you think?
I think the big ideas of this trade is freedom and flexibility. I think Memphis gained a lot, and I think Orlando lost all of it. On Orlando's side, I've definitely come around to liking this trade more than I did originally. I still think it's an overpay. I think that they needed like other forms of like a point guard or like more creation in addition to shooting. Obviously, Desmond Bane fits that shooting need immensely. But I also think you need some sort of point guard to kind of take the pressure off of Paolo and Franz, I think, creating. Because I don't always let that fit. And I think that if you I don't know how I love those three players next to each other as far as the creation aspect. But I guess we'll see on that. I just think that are you going to be a better team with Desmond Bane on your team or being able to sign free agents and make moves along the margins and build out a roster with a good bench and that fits well together that you think will actually compete at a better level. So on Orlando's part, I agree with Latif 100%. It is on Paolo Banchero to take that next step to really make this trade work. Because again, I think that if Paolo can separate himself as a top 10, top 15, top 20 player, again, he's fringe top. I think he's in that top 20 conversation for sure. But if he can step in,
he's not going to do it.
What?
He's not. He's not a top 20 conversation, and top 20 is not going to do it.
Okay.
Top 15 probably not going to do it. To be honest.
Again, we're not talking about championship level contention. Did I say that? I'm saying just for this trade to work out. Huh?
No. The only way this works out is if they win a championship. Let's not get that messed up.
Every team's goal specifically isn't to like win the championship every year. Like every move isn't like predicated on winning the championship.
I think it's happy medium because I kind of agree.
They don't have a tradable first until 2032. So I feel like they need to be competing for championships in the next few years for this to be worth it, in my opinion.
I think Paolo could be top 15, top 12, and this could work out, and they could still be competing depending on what they move on their bench. Depending on their bench, I think that also has to fill out, and you have to have more pieces around.
It's hard to do that.
Again, the Pacers are in that conversation right now with a really good bench and a good system.
Depending on how quickly Paolo takes a jump, he's going to get super max. And if that happens,
you lose that much more flexibility.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 97% of their cap going to like 4 players.
Yeah, so, and you have to hit on you have to hit on draft picks, which they have shown they could do. Like it's not hard to hit. Like you hit on Franz, okay. Like that's the outlier, but and Suggs, it took him 3 years to even break out, and then immediately got hurt. And his play style, he's a defender first. He's a football player. 2, he's a defender. So he plays reckless. So he's gonna tend to get hurt, miss some time, as we've seen this year. Like that's just gonna happen. So now that knocks off another important player off your roster. It's not hard to hit on Paolo Banchero. He's the best prospect coming out of the class. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. After that, they haven't shown the ability to hit on anything.
100%.
There's nothing on their bench that like tells you like, okay, I got my 4, and I know I got at least 2 on the bench that I really got like.
It's all youth right now.
He wasn't even that good. You know what I'm saying? And then 2, the Jamal Mosley point, Jamal Mosley might be the coach before the coach. You know what I'm saying? So like after he's literally going to be on the hot seat going into next year because of the wide open Eastern Conference. So if he doesn't at least make it to the second round of the playoffs next year, he's gone. And now you have to start that over and get a new coach. And now you're paying money to a new coach and an old coach. Your cap is strapped because you're paying 4 players basically 120. It'd be like 140 million, damn near. And then you're going into your 3rd year on the 2 rookies that you drafted 3 years ago. Obviously they're going to be restricted. You're going to mess around, lose them. You're going to try to trade them for something. If you can get something, you're going to have to try to hit on 2nd round picks and get good value off of vet minimum flyers. It's kind of a hard process. They should be competing for championship. It's not every team operates that way because they know it's kind of realistic. Sometimes it's just about more than being relevant, but not like expecting to have that high level ceiling. Sometimes you just got to get to the point where like you're consistently competing every year, and then maybe you pop off. Just sometimes, like obviously, when it comes to like money and capital, it's hard to justify just being a perennial playoff team when you're paying money as if you're a title contender. That's where things get, mixed up. Because like if I'm paying all this money, I should be in finals contention, but obviously we do not have the players to get us to the finals. I don't think Paolo is going to be nowhere near a top 15 player in the next 2 years for them to think that this was a great move 2 years from now. Even if he is, it's like to win championships, you really need a top 10 player. Like you're not getting it done with a top 15, top 20 player. You need that top 10 guy. You need a bunch of other top 20, top 30, top 40. You need somebody in each bracket of
And that's what I'm saying. I think you have Franz and Bane. You have Franz and Bane. That's where you need Paolo to take that.
Franz and Bane they're in the same bracket.
I get you. What are they? Top 40? You think?
Yeah, they're probably 30 to 40. Them together probably 30 to 40. And Paolo's like 30 to 20.
And again, you have Shea in top 10. You have Chet and J-Dub in what you said earlier, 25.
J-Dub is in 15 to 25. He's in that range. And then you got Chet. Chet may not be top 40, but I know for a fact he's one of the best defenders in the league.
Okay. But that's kind of what I was getting into.
What? Top 40, Q. I ain't like top 40. He's top 40.
No, I think maybe. I'm not. I haven't done my rankings. I'm just spit throwing a number out there. He could be top 40. Like,
Q, that's why
he's the same level of player as Desmond Bane, sure. But I know even if I'm worried about his offense, I know for a fact on one side he's elite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where I agree with you on the freedom side, though. Like, they don't have freedom to do much. They are pretty locked in.
They don't have an elite player. They don't have an elite player at anything except for one elite shooter.
Yeah.
Then they're an elite finisher, but it's hard for him to be an elite finisher if he, getting collapsed and they don't have no other shooting on the court.
Their ability to draft is like not great, obviously, and like their freedom to kind of change this roster. They're stuck in this roster. But on Memphis' side, again, I don't think it's an A-. I love this for Memphis. I can't lie. I really like this for Memphis because they can go in one of two directions, and that's to rebuild and retool. And in my opinion, they traded the third of their three best players. I still believe in Ja. I still think Ja is a very, very good point guard. And I think him and Jaren, if you put another piece alongside of them, can do something. You can compete in that second tier behind OKC or the San Antonio, I think, if they take their jump next year. But I think at the same time, if you want to push all your chips in and cash in on Ja, on Jaren, you can start a big rebuild with the pieces you have. They have good young pieces on the wing. They went through a lot of injuries, obviously, last year. You can say what you want about Zach Edey. I don't know. But you got Vince Williams, you got Gigi Jackson, you got Jalen Wells, you have Jaren, and you have Ja, who I think are both Ja's value. I don't know honestly what it is.
That's in the mug right now. Ja value.
Like, what is it though? Like, honestly, 2 firsts, 3 firsts, like it's less than Desmond Bane.
Right now,
yes. If he were to get traded today, that's what I don't know.
If he gets traded today, it's different because I don't want to say he's going for what Bane got because
I think he has to because when he's on the court, he's better than Bane.
At his best, he's worth what Bane got. He's injury. It's the injury concerns. Obviously, it's the off-field concerns.
Yeah,
those already knock him down a little bit. Plus, he's up for a contract extension soon, so that already knocks off a pick. If he'd have to go to a team that has space because you can't send him to a team that they have to give up a lot of assets.
Yeah,
players and draft picks. Like if it's just two first-round picks and you keep all your players, then cool, you take Ja. But if you got to give up A, B, C, and then a couple picks, then he's not worth it. You have to let him play and build that up first.
That's why it's weird. But I think that the ability for Memphis to have assets now and to be able to pivot and do what they want to do, I think that's great. That's not a thing that a lot of teams have. A lot of teams have a team and they're kind of stuck with it, or they're rebuilding and they're stuck with it. They have 2 very good players still, and you have a bunch of young pieces built around. If you want to go trade for that third star, you can. And if you want to rebuild, you can.
There's no player available that's going to put them in championship contention.
We need a player you need a player that's better than both Ja and
I'm just saying we don't know what's going to happen next summer. And again, I agree. I think you have to let this team play out. You have to let this team play out with Ja.
Do you?
I think to get his trade value up, yeah. I think you want to play Ja to try and make sure and show everyone that he's better. I mean, if Kevin Durant gets traded, whatever, is Devin Booker to Memphis at all a possibility?
No.
Why?
Devin Booker is not leaving Phoenix.
Why? I know it's Ishbia. It's Ishbia the owner. I understand. But I'm just saying, why could that not be a trade?
He wants to be there, and they want him to be there. That's why he's not leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a grave disservice if Memphis doesn't at least take calls on Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. I know they want to keep both and build around them, but I'm sorry. If those are your top 2 players, you're not winning the championship. And maybe maybe they don't. I mean, obviously the goal is to win a championship, but some teams are just comfortable with being a good team, and that's fine. Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant can lead you to be a good team. They're great players in the grand scheme of things. They are not ones or two. Well, they're not a 1 and a 2 on a championship level team. Neither one are. If that makes sense. You guys tried for a few years to compete in the West.
Were they 1 seed, 2 seed, 1 seed, 2 seed?
They were 2 seed twice.
2 seed twice. Yeah, I mean, like regular season success, just not playoffs.
They had a lot of regular season success. They were the 2 seed twice. The West is competitive. It's super competitive. Those two players being your best two players are not winning you a championship. And you don't have I don't think you have a real route to getting a player there that will be good enough to get you to a championship in the West. So you have to explore trading both of those guys. If you want to wait till Ja Morant can rebuild his trade value, that's going to be difficult, but you can wait, I guess. Triple J is about to sign a contract, so that may lower his trade value.
No, that actually boosted. When a player gets paid, that like makes your trade value go up because now the other team doesn't have to worry about giving him a contract. You know?
Yeah, extending him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not super enthusiastic to pay Jaren Jackson Jr. at all, to be honest. It depends on what the deal is, but like that's not a player I want to have on a max contract, to be honest. Not really.
Do you mean to go through these three, this trio? Do you do that now or later?
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it right now. But long story short, Memphis definitely needs to take a look at blowing everything up and cashing out on two players that can get you a lot of picks and a really good start to the rebuild. That's me personally. That's what I think, because you're not winning a championship with those two players as your best two players. It's not happening. It's really unrealistic. But Max, I understand you have a would you rather.
Yeah, we got a would you rather for the new Orlando trio of Bane, Franz, and Paolo. So,
would you rather Orlando Big Three edition?
Would you rather Orlando Magic Big Three edition? So first up, it's a hypothetical. Let's say Kevin Durant gets traded to the Houston Rockets. Would you rather Bane, Paolo, and Franz, or Şengün, KD, and Amin Thompson?
Houston. I got the best player. I got an all-NBA level defender. And I get another all-star. I know Kevin Durant is better than for sure better than all three of those players. All rip.
I'll take Houston.
I thought Houston would be said so much faster. I agree. I think you get Amin Thompson, who is an all-world defender. You still get Kevin Durant.
I'm not really big on Şengün, but
Amin Thompson point guard. I'm good with that. I'm supposed to be the point guard.
You know, I think each one of those three guys can do something very well. I think you're still curious about what those other three guys fit next to each other with.
What's going to do very well?
Pass. You got Bane, Franz, and Paolo, or Kawhi, Harden, and Ivica Zubac.
Kawhi, Harden, and Zubac easily.
The Clippers.
You got Bane, Franz, and Paolo, or the old trio of Ja, Triple J, and Desmond Bane.
You give me the old trio. Right now, if they were to play right now.
I'm saying right now, not at their peak, whatever. I'm saying right now because we haven't seen Ja play in a little bit.
I'll take Ja, Bane, and Triple J.
Yeah, I still think it's Memphis.
That makes more sense.
They fit a lot better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Desmond Bane, Franz Wagner, and Paolo Banchero, or next year's Boston Celtics, as it stands right now, with Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Kristaps Porzingis.
Give me Orlando.
Jaylen Brown first option hoops are going to be nasty.
I didn't know. I mean, it doesn't really change if it's Drew or Porzingis. They'll both get traded either way, maybe.
Somebody told me Jaylen Brown is better than Jada, man. Crazy.
Right. Last one. Bane, Franz, and Paolo, or current NBA Finals trio: Tyrese, Pascal Siakam, and Andrew Nembhard.
That's the magic. That's the magic. The Pacers are a great team. That's why they're here, not because of that trio.
Just throwing it out.
The worst player of the six is Nembhard.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little gap.
Yeah.
All right, that was it, Max.
I got 5.
All right, last topic of this little mini episode is KD trade rumors. So it was just announced by Shams basically that Kevin Durant prefers specifically the Spurs to play as his next team. But it was announced like yesterday, I believe, that his preferred options are the Heat, Houston Rockets, and Miami Heat, and the Spurs. So what do you guys think is the best spot for Kevin Durant for his new team?
You go first. You want to go first, Q? I think it's San Antonio. I'll be honest. I do think it's San Antonio. And I think when you look at every situation where he could go, I guess maybe I'd say Miami because he's in the East. But you get Bam, which I like Bam still, but Bam and Tyler Hero as your trio. If I'm in San Antonio, I'm taking having Wemby, having Fox, having Harp, whatever, to contend for the next 2 years. I think this is granted, obviously, that Wemby is healthy come this time next year, or come start of next year. But I think a duo of Wemby and KD, the only better duo is probably Ant and KD. And I think that Minnesota is an interesting place, but what you have to give up, I'm not really sure of what would work out there. I think San Antonio is pretty simple. You can give up, not the minimum, but you can give up something that's not going to hurt you that bad, and you can contend with KD. Wemby can get some playoff experience, potentially Western Conference Finals experience. Having De'Aaron Fox, Wemby, and KD, I think is a top big 3 in the Western Conference. And I think that, again, I don't think you necessarily have to give up Stephon Castle. And I don't think you have to get the number 2 overall pick either. So I think you can move pieces around and make that work and still keep on to those valuable assets and allow your championship window to start now and still extend as long as you have Harper and Wemby at your 1 and your 2. They can learn a lot from KD, I think, as far as being offensive scorer. And just I think both players, obviously Wemby, could learn a lot from him. But I think that San Antonio is in a very unique position where they have a top 12, top 15 player currently in Wemby, top 10 when he's at his peak. But who's a two-way guy, takes the pressure off of KD. But then KD is still an all-world scorer who, come playoff time, will be the go-to guy. And I think that with the complementary pieces they have, I think that I have them jumping either way, but I think they could be a top 4 team in the West pretty easily with that.
Next year?
I think if they get KD, I would pick them as a top 4 team. Yes.
KD moving to you like that still?
I guess it depends. It depends on what they give up for KD. But if they still, if they keep 2 of Sohan, Vassell, and Castle, I like them off the second unit.
Castle's gonna stay, not Sohan and Vassell.
I
Keldon
don't know
Johnson.
I don't know if they give. I don't know if they have to give both up though.
They probably.
I'm just saying. I think you can hold on to one and give Keldon Johnson.
Neither one of those players are great. Neither one of those players are great at all. Neither one of those players are great. I'm just saying.
I think that I don't know what better options you have off the bench.
The Spurs will still have money, I believe. So they'll just
got money, and they still got draft picks.
Wemby's on a rookie contract, so they still have money to fill out the roster.
You're paying KD, you're paying Fox. You still have a third max slot.
Yeah, they won't use that. They would just use that on actual role players.
Yeah, I'm not. Again, I like.
That had 30 mil. You could get 3 decent players.
I think you could go get Cam Johnson for that matter. I guess.
I'm not KDQ. Where should KD go?
If it's of those 3, I too think probably would be the Spurs because they have I think they have the better players, like Miami. I think you'd be basically swapping out Wiggs for Kevin Durant, which is cool, but I don't think they have a lot of depth. I don't trust their players 4 through whatever. It'd be heavy Bam, Hero, KD. In the East, especially next year, that should be enough to be competitive. Second round ceiling most likely, but at least they're going to compete. Miami's able to compete without, Kevin Durant, so it'll be a lot cleaner with him. But I'd probably go to Spurs because you got Fox. They're gonna draft Harper. You got Wemby. You would have KD. At that point, you just got to fill out the margins just slightly. Get yourself a backup big, another like guard or two, another wing, and then you pretty much set. I don't like the Houston fit as much as everybody else likes the Houston fit. I still think they lack a lot of like perimeter creation. Still needs a little bit more spacing. He does provide some shooting, but like he'd be the only one really shooting in that lineup, unless they start, giving Reed like 30, like 20 minutes a night. Fred VanVleet hit or miss. He could be hot or cold. Like I don't really like the Houston situation as much as like the general consensus does. I think the Spurs of those three is the best option. That's predicated on Wemby's health. I still don't think they'd have enough to compete for a championship next year. Obviously, I think that's like a 2 years from now thing, and by 2 years from now, I still think Kevin Durant's going to be a great player. Like I don't think he's ever going to fall out of like all-star level play. But that's cool. As long as they fill out the margins, they should be good. Like I said, probably not going to win a championship while he's there, but at least it catapults the team early, and like they don't have to like go through another season of not making the playoffs with like a generational player.
I think if Kevin Durant wants to win a championship, he should be trying to go to the Knicks. And reportedly, he was trying to go to the Knicks, but they didn't want him. I don't know why they wouldn't want him over Cat. That baffles me.
The thing is, they said they don't want him, but they tried to trade for him at the trade deadline. Like they literally tried to give up assets. They had a trade package to try to get him at the deadline. It just Phoenix didn't take it. So that's whatever. Go
ahead. I think the Knicks give KD the best chance to win a championship at this point in his career because they're in the East. The East is going to be wide open next year, theoretically. And I think he increases their ceiling enough to get to the finals. But with Kevin Durant's preferred trade destinations that he announced or that his agent announced, I'm not too sure he's focused on actually like competing for championships. I think right now Kevin Durant wants to get his money. I think he wants to be in a place where it's hot, where he can just enjoy it. I think he just wants to hoop, get his money, and talk to girls. I think he actually said that. Like, I dead ass think he actually said that. I was trying to find a tweet. I think he dead ass. It was either on Instagram or Twitter. I'm gonna try to find it, but he literally said like all he wants to do is hoop, get his money, and like mess with girls. Like I think that's all he wants to do, and I can't blame him, bro. He probably just want to hoop, get his money, smoke a little weed, and then that's it. Like, like I don't know how winning the championship at this stage in his career. To be honest,
if we're going outside of his preferred destinations, would Cleveland not make sense? Like you give up DG and then you just have Mitchell, Mobley, KD.
Cleveland gets Kevin Durant, it's up.
That's what I'm like. I think
that if they allow that to happen,
I'll
try to keep DG out of it. I'll probably just put Jared Allen.
But I'm saying I think DG is the sole best thing that I think they can get in a package for KD. And to be honest, I don't think you necessarily need DG if you have KD next year.
Trading DG that young player for him would not be smart. Jared Allen makes more sense for the Suns.
I think it gets you a ring next. I think it gets you a ring next year, though.
They can do it with Jared Allen and other players. Jared Allen, Ty Jerome, or something like that.
I'm not going to say no because then you could just slide MLB. Yeah, I'm not going to. I don't disagree. I'm just saying if it came to DG, I would think about it.
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna lie.
I would think about it.
I definitely think about it. I'm lying. But
that's a ring, or at least a finals appearance.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that team just necessarily just beating OKC. I mean, but
that's fine. I think it's the best team in the East by far, especially with no Boston. That's the best team in the East by far.
Oh yeah, they ripped through Indiana.
Like D. Mitch, KD, and you get the defense of Mobley, depending on what pieces they keep around. But you still have Strus, you still have Ty Jerome, you still have DeAndre Hunter, Isaac Okoro, depending on what the trades are. I'm just naming people on the team at this point in time. But like,
you can't find a trade for Isaac Okoro. They can't get rid of him. Like you can't get. They're stuck with Isaac Okoro until his contract is up.
Yeah,
And even then, they still might sign him back.
I think if everything out the window, I think KD to them would be the best. But
I just feel like Kevin Durant is at a point in his career where he just loves basketball. He wants to hoop, and he wants to get one last big payday where he can get all his money.
I would like to say that is not. There's nothing wrong with that. That is how 99.9999% of NBA players. That's exactly what they want to do at the later stage of their career. That's exactly how it happens. Like a lot of and I don't think Kevin Durant's going out there actively not trying to win basketball games. I don't think he's not trying to make the playoffs. I don't think he's not trying to win a championship. He's probably just more understanding of I'm probably just not going to get one. I'm going to try my best, but I'm not going to force the issue. He's tried to force the issue before. I don't see it succeeded, but it came with a lot of backlash. And then he tried to force another issue on top of another issue, and it just kind of all spiraled out of control. I guess he's just not in the mode of forcing the issue. He didn't force this issue. He didn't force the trade out of Phoenix. He didn't actually be traded. They actually were trying to trade him behind his back, and he found out. This is all because Phoenix want to trade him, which is they should be trying to trade him. They're trying to get off his money. He's older and whatnot. So it's this is just a situation that he didn't really bring upon himself, kind of he didn't actually be traded. I understand you have your Steph Curry's who still trying to compete for a championship. Granted, he's with a great organization. LeBron still trying to compete for a championship. It looked exactly how it was looking with KD for the past couple years. Now, but the Lakers blessed them and traded for Luka Doncic. That ain't happening in Phoenix. He's blessed with he got a dumb owner who the owner immediately came in, traded for Kevin Durant, and then 3 months later traded for Bradley Beal. After they traded for Bradley Beal, there was no ever possible chance that they was ever going to compete for a championship. So it became a dead situation once he even got there in the first place. So he chilling. He gonna leave the game as an all-star, still averaging 25 points a game. Cool little end to his career. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, I ain't nothing wrong with that either. That's going to do it though. I guess it's episode. We haven't done the episode in a minute, so I don't even know. Let's see, episode 148. I guess we're gonna get this out in the morning. We'll have an NBA draft video coming out pretty soon. Make sure you guys tap into it after watching this. It'll be up probably on Wednesday. So it was Tuesday when you're watching this. It'll be up on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, follow us on social media platforms, and we are out. It is late.
Let me get this slow.